Number 12, UC San Diego against number 5, Michigan. Michigan, 2.5-point favorites, total 142.5.
Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I really struggle with this game. I'm hoping you guys can tell me. I mean, I see all the San Diego love. I mean, Michigan 3, 2.5. They limped to the Big Ten tournament. Biggest takeaway, they know how to win close games. So I was really liking Michigan. They come from behind late. Dusty May influence. You remember he took FAU to the Final Four. They got links. They got experience. They play defense. Why not bet Michigan? I see the San Diego love, but
what is the redeeming? What is generating that love for San Diego?
Well, that's what I'm trying to ascertain here, RJ. I don't know. I mean, to me, it looks like did San Diego catch lightning in a bottle? I mean, 2 years ago they were just a bad basketball team. I know they beat Utah State. They had a pretty good Irvine team in the Big West, but they're not experienced. So I want someone to tell me why.
All right.
San Diego.
Fez, what do you got?
So I can't name the players, but my understanding is that UC San Diego, their coach brought a Division II program, and he brought all of his best players with him. Okay. So they actually are experienced, playing together. It's just, those players are. But they've been playing at a really high level. This UC San Diego team has been incredibly good. And I'm sure if we look up like their KenPom numbers and the like, that they're not getting seeded properly here, playing Michigan. Plus, I think that the fact Michigan running through the Big Ten, I know the rest doesn't matter, but the fact they won all of these games.
All right, so what I have here is a blend of KenPom's ratings with what's his name? It's EVA.
Evan Mia?
Yes, that's it, Evan Mia. And then we have it's actually they don't use Tarvik, they use one other one. The guy that's been doing power ratings for a long time, like 30 years.
Sagarin?
No, you're right. He's one of the old time, but it's one other respected one. I can look it up as someone else is talking. But so we have the blended number here, and they call it the Parcells. So it's the guy who invented the wins above bubble, WAB, which is
Seth Burns.
Yeah, Seth Burns. That's exactly right, Mackenzie. So he has him ranked by WAB, which is actually something the committee uses now, I guess. So here's his top teams, just to give you an idea. Auburn, Florida, Houston, Duke, Alabama. I think that's almost everyone's top 5, right? Tennessee. So he's aligned. Right. Say it again.
Looks right.
Yeah. Okay, so he's got Michigan, the 9th best team, and he's got UC San Diego 42.
Wow.
So it doesn't seem like a 2.5-point spread. If you look at the blend, the Parcells as they call it, that's the blend of the 3. Michigan is 94.6, and San Diego is 89.2.
So a 5.4 spread.
Yeah.
That's I'm pumping the brakes then on San Diego. I love the venue in Denver. It's on the West Coast. The crowd will be for the underdog. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's something easy to or it's easy to get a feel for, and when it's not like NFL is your number one sport, NBA right there 1B, college basketball. Hey, you get involved late, but you don't have that depth of knowledge. Do you think maybe you lean toward or you gravitate towards things like home crowd because it is something that you have a great feel for?
Well, that and less travel. I mean, I know San Diego to Denver is not a short trip, but that's an easy trip compared to Ann Arbor to Denver. I think even though the miles is similar, I'm sure that UC San Diego has more experience in altitude than Michigan does.
Okay,
and the start time.
That's an interesting point.
And they're familiar with the start time.
Well, yeah, that's a great point too. It's it's a 10 p.m. It's a 10 p.m. Eastern start time.
10 p.m. Eastern start time.
Oh,
so that's
circadian rhythms.
Yes.
Okay. So what we're saying here is Michigan's the clear better team. There's some stuff. So right here, if you look at, I think this is KenPom's or someone else's. It's someone else respected. They got Michigan 58.5% to advance in round 1, which is not
the spread.
Yeah. Okay.
2.5 to 3.
I got to tell you this. For years, I always said, I think that people get so excited about some of these dogs that come tip off. It gets too far in that, it gets too short, these lines. But if you actually look at the history, I just saw this year. If you take teams that are favored by 3 or less points, when they're a big 5 or whatever, big division against a small school, the small school covers like 60% of the time on these tiny spreads.
It seems like the dogs in general, right? When you're a dog, it's just you're like, okay, I'm staring at the abyss. This is my last game. Whereas it's human nature. Michigan's thinking, okay, if we win this game, who are we playing in the next round? They're looking ahead a little bit.
But they won't be if the spread's 2.5, right?
Well, on that point, we were looking at, me and Scott were the last 3 years, how underdogs were doing, and it's profitable in the first game of the tournament and in the Sweet 16 and in the Final Four. All 3 of those games are the first game of the weekend.
Okay, but is it more what's more profitable there?
Just betting the underdog on the money line has been profitable the last 3 years. First round, Sweet 16, Final Four. So I thought those are the first games of the weekend.
But is it more profitable? Oh, okay. You're making an interesting point. Is the rounds you're talking about? There might be 2 days of them, but you're talking about that whole round, not like for Thursday instead of Friday.
Yeah, and there's a lot less games in the Final Four, so it's not as important. But there seems to be something where Sweet 16 was a lot more profitable on the underdog than the second round. I wonder if having that week of I don't know, angst or something makes the underdogs think they can do it.
Well, see, that seems like it'd be the opposite.
When you say angst, don't you? I mean, it's the.
I'm thinking the favorites have the angst, and they. I don't know. It's easier just to go for the second game.
Here's what I think it is.
And this is theoretical.
The underdogs usually have better The underdogs that are good have good coaches. Like, I mean, think about how often is there like some small conference underdog that's got a bad coach? Usually he's like
he wouldn't have won the conference.
He's
tournament.
an up and comer kind of, and if they have those extra days, right? So when it's the first games of the weekend, you've got 4 days off or whatever, right? And if it's the next, you got 1 day off, right? Or let's think about it. You play Thursday, then you play Saturday. Yes, you have 1 day off.
It's similar
to
it's
prep time.
Similar to big favorites in the NFL Thursday night, where there's less press time, coaching, and other factors matter less.
And in that case, it's usually the Joes and not the X's and O's.
Right. Underdogs do worse with less press time, better with more prep time.
All right, so why don't you just say 20 dogs of double-digit dogs, check out, go back to 2000, check out round 1 versus, I guess 20, there won't be many 20-point dogs. So you know what you would want to do, actually? See what the average dog is in round 2, and then go in that range as the kind of the break point and look at 1, but only look at that range in the first round, meaning don't look at 30-point dogs. Look at dogs like, let's say, are within 10 points, and see, I mean, the way you can do it is going to be different than I would maybe or whoever, but I think generally we'd get the gist, right?
Yeah, so to look at apples to apples.
So, Dave, in general, if I said to you, hey, you've got an underdog in the NCAA tournament, are you anxious to have it as the first games of the weekend, or do you care?
Oh, I think I'm anxious to have it as the first games before their opponent decides to take them more seriously.
Yeah, but the first games, that lends itself to more prep time, right? So wouldn't that give the favorite more time to take it seriously?
Yeah, but does Michigan have prep time, or is Michigan in this particular game, are they still kind of fat and happy from winning and playing Sunday and looking at who they could potentially play on Saturday?
Now, that does bring up a good point. I think if you're laying the big lumber, which we're not here either way, I think the first game of the weekend, you're less inclined to lay the big lumber because they got a game in 48 hours and they don't want, if they're up 18 late, they don't have their starters in. Mm-hmm. We've often talked about.
Oh, I'm not. Are we comparing like Thursday to Saturday or Thursday morning to Thursday night?
No, Thursday to Saturday.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I was thinking like this game's at 7 p.m. So I always like every year I try to look at who's the public going to be betting? They're going to bet Michigan in this game. So if you miss the +3 on UCSD, it's going to come back, right? Because the public is going to see, oh my God, Michigan's only a 2 or 2.5 point favorite. They're going to lay it.
Isn't this a public underdog?
I got a question for you, Steve. Though.
Go ahead, Dave.
Do you think that's the case in this particular game where it seems like, the public's watching ESPN and listening to the calling and whatnot, and they're all over San Diego?
Yeah, they get liquored up. They're going to bet on Michigan, though. I do. I really think when they're out in Vegas that they're going to bet on the team that they recognize.
It's called the whiskey index, right? That's going to dictate.
Yes.
So
fair.
So, Fez, do you like The dog?
I like San Diego. I gave it out to my clients +3, but I don't like it nearly like I did when it first came out. Like, and then this is always the thing. Like, you give out early plays, and now like I gave them, the High Point +9. Love that bet. All right, I give them Grand Canyon +11.5. Love that bet. This is the one I gave out early. I've got a little bit of value on the current line, but this is the one I'm like, not as much.